My name is João Costa. I'm a senior program manager at the Global Development Network. I'm also the director of the Global Development Conference, and I'm very proud to be here to be for the first time associating with INGSA. I came thinking that we had similar missions, similar goals, but actually I believe after these 2 days that actually we complement each other very, very well. For those that do not know GDN, the Global Development Network, we are this year turning 25 years. We have our headquarters in India, with an office as well in Washington DC, and recently we opened an office in Clermont-Ferrand in France, in partnership with Verdi and Serdi, with the generous support from the AFD. Due to that, we've been recently expanding our activities through Francophone Africa. We tend to focus a lot on social sciences. We have our flagship project, which is the Doing Research program, which does an entire assessment of the social science framework at the national level with the several indicators in order to help sustain the development, because it's an idea that it is done repeatedly in order to see and to support the evolution at the national level. What I'm here for is the Global Development Awards competition. This has been a competition that has been running almost as long as GDN has existed, since 2020, so we've had over 20 editions so far. The projects, the awards that we provide are either research grants or grants provided to NGOs, so that they can sustain the projects that they do in order to target the most vulnerable communities. The projects tend to be between 12 and 24 months, and of course they're based in the Global South, or LMICs. There are two strands, as I said, one for researchers, and when I say researchers, I say young researchers, because we want to help build their own careers, and the name of the category is Japanese Award for Outstanding Research on Development, what we so-called ORD. I'll let you know why it's Japanese awards in a little while. And the prize tends to be 60,000 in total, with the first award being 30,000, then 20,000, and 10,000. For the NGOs or CSOs, the category is called Japanese Award for Most Innovative Development Project Award, also called MIDP. Those acronyms are going to be important. And the total award that we provide for this is 125 cumulative, with two first prize awards for 50,000 for a reason, and another one of 25,000. This is our longest project, and this has been actually the one that we take pride on, because it's the one that connects the research with the project for development. The biggest, I must make public acknowledgement, because this would have not existed without the generous support from the government of Japan. Since the very beginning, since the inception, we've had the Ministry of Finance and the government of Japan to support this program, with over $4 million already being provided over this 20 odd years in research and project grants. We tend to focus that, or tend to say, or like to say, that it is not just about money. We do provide the funds that are needed in order for the grants to take place, for the projects to be sustained, but we also, from the get-go, for prospective applicants, we carry on different webinars so that we can also provide and develop some skills on the NGOs and the researchers on how to apply to grants, because that's something that you develop, it's not something that you have from the get-go. And because there's so much effort from everyone that is involved on this, from even getting an idea on paper, the entire evaluation for both categories is multi-stages. And there's feedback that is provided to the applicant so that they know how they can get better, why they didn't advance, and even from one stage to the other, in particular on the ORD category, the research category, they have the opportunity to even revise their application based on the feedback that they get throughout the multi-stages of the evaluation process. Something also that we provide, but to the finalists on this, is a communications training, because it is a skill, it's something that you need to develop, and since we want this to have policy implication, we need to make it clear that it is different to talk with academia, it is different to talk with policymakers, it is different to talk with different audiences, and therefore, before they even get a chance to present their proposals at the final stage, they are trained in order to have all at the same levels, because we want to give them all an equal chance to advance. Something that we are trying now to add upon into this entire project is the concept of collaborative grants. Because NGOs tend to focus on the people. They work because they are focused on providing the access to water, access to education. We have multiple teams, multiple projects, but they tend to focus on the people, on supporting the people on the spot. So when they get the funds, it's in order to continue their developments. We created a new collaborative grant which is provided to the researchers so that they can follow up on the NGOs, provide data so that they can actually end the project, not just showing the impact that they had in terms of the people that benefited, but why there was a reason for that project even to exist. So basically the way that I like to explain it is that we don't want to provide band-aids. We want them to be able to then advocate for the systemic issue that they tend to focus on to be addressed. Of course, funding is the most important in order for activities to take place, but the mentorship is something that is vital, is someone that we provide, and maybe it might be even someone from the audience, someone that is here and that has heard about this project, because we tend to find always and allocate a specialist, someone that is either knows about the region where the project is being implemented or the topic of the project that they're going to do, so that they have the additional support from someone that actually help them to develop themselves, not solely on the project, but on throughout the future. There's also the possibility for scale-up funding. So the two first prize winners that I mentioned on the MREP category, we have two first prize winners because after the first year of implementation, these projects are between 12 and 24 months, but at least after the 12 months, they compete against each other in order to have access to 200,000 more, in order to either scale it up, so an evolution of what they've already been doing, or to even replicate it in a different region, looking for other partners, and yet again, with the additional support of a mentor, someone that is an expert on field, and with the researchers working side by side with them, with additional financial support as well, so that they have this additional information for the success of the entire implementation of a project. Having worked for 20 years, having over 20 editions, of course, we have a network that tends to be involved, and we like to advertise it. I invite you all to, when you can, to go to this portal where you will find exclusively, it does not contain all the grantees of GDN. It contains the grantees of this program, where you can look and understand what they've done. You can look by keywords, you can look by abstracts, you can look by regions, because who knows, maybe even some of the topics that you've been working on and were debated here, there were some people already that worked on this field, and I know for a fact that they will be eager to collaborate and to develop further, who knows, for a different kind of projects. This has been going on for 20 years, and we tend to do an impact study 10 years because we want to see what is a long-term impact. And we divided it between looking at the individual evolution, the institution where they come from, and in terms of general impact. Generally speaking, it's color graded, so that green, it's the highest impact that they're seeing. And the thing that they see the most is that it actually helps on their career advancement. The kind of support, the development of the soft skills on the communication, the grant that they get, and the mentorship that they are provided with allows them to develop their career on the local and also national and even on international side. I can say that, as I said, I'm going to be organizing the next Global Development Conference, and the current, it's going to be in Fiji, and the current Vice Prime Minister and Minister of Finance of the government of Fiji used to be a GDN grantee many years ago, but he used to be part of the network. So it's one example that I like to give. There are many more, but here I don't have time to go over them. But you can see that the impact on the long term, it's both observed on the individual level for the researchers and also on the individual level for the project directors from the NGOs that are funded through this program. Now, just let me make here a quick disclaimer. It might be anticlimactic, but I'm making the announcement here, and the winners are at home just following on social media because they know that I am on this right now talking about it, so they're following us. I'm going to ask at the end for a round of applause because the recording is happening there, and I want them to see that there was excitement in the room, even though they were not here. The project itself, thank you so much. The topic changes every year. The topic, it is organized and it's selected according to the Japanese ODA, because they're our main funders, but also according to what we hear from past grantees and from global priorities in the development world. In this specific category, so the ORD, the research-based, we were looking for projects that contributed to an understanding of the nexus of the challenges that are interconnected between these three topics, and to offer solutions so that the outputs will support policy recommendations. I'm just highlighting the criteria so that you understand that it's important that the projects that are selected to contribute for the development of the aspect are innovative, are of high quality, and have clear policy implications. This year, we have 3 very different projects from 3 different countries. We have Syrian from Lebanon that is her project is basically going to focus on Syrian refugees in Lebanon and the garbage pickers in Cairo. It is considered a high risk, but also a high pay in terms of what it is. And what is important in the education component is that it is looking into the participation learning and to go over the risks phase, the work-based education, and the income generation that these particular marginalized community can affect. Jovia from Uganda, our neighbor currently, is going to create a framework to understand the context of these street children. What are the issues that they face? What is the actual implication and the success of the locally sensitive models that were created? And the high aspect of this is the engagement with the local community-based organizations. Victor from Ghana is taking a different approach and looking to see the impact of the development of piloting a climate fishing school with a comparative aspect, so between countries, between Ghana and Philly, using drone image so that it assesses an overall, a long-term evolution of the policy implications that might exist. These were the 3 finalists, and I can tell you the choice was very hard, but ultimately, the first prize winner is Cyrene. She got the first prize, therefore she's going to get 30,000 in order to implement the full scale of the project that she set forth. I summed it up, but I invite you to look at the viewpoints where there's a summary of and access to all the abstracts and contacts even of the different winners. The second prize winner will be for Jovia from Uganda, and she was awarded 20,000, and together with the mentor that will be assigned to her, she will scale it down in order to fit into the 20,000 that was available. And third place goes to Victor, and he's going to do the same effort. And in his case, it was principal because the jury recommended that he would be able to pilot it up before moving into the multi-stage, multi-country, because it would be too much at once to do, and therefore they invited him to start at the beginning, and then GDN and the mentor and everyone else will help him to secure funding additionally in the future to do the entire research that he was looking for. Moving on to the MREP, so to the development projects from NGOs or CSOs, we have 3 different projects, and the goals of these were different as well, because the concept of the MREP is for projects that are already ongoing. They need to show the interconnection between these different challenges, offer solutions that are innovative, but they always must focus on providing the conditions, improving the conditions of the vulnerable populations that they're going to do, while looking up for the potential for scale up or replication. That is a key factor because we have 2 first prize winners, and those will be competing in 1 year's time for the scale-up grant. The 3 projects are different, very different, though it's interesting that for the first time we actually have 2 finalists from the same country, and a neighbor country, 2 from Uganda and 1 from Nigeria. Hope Health, it is a project that is looking deeper into the impact on the welfare of people. They are looking into actually creating an entire system of training people while acquiring land so that it is sustainable and it is their land on the long term, that they can use it and create a system that will benefit the community, and not just the community that they were addressing right now, but everyone that is around them. UN Smile is based more in terms of urban food security, and they are going to be focusing on creating vertical farms for the communities, while providing training in sustainable agriculture, and even on training for their own, create some sort of income based on what they're going to acquire from it. ACE Charity from Nigeria has a completely different aspect, took a different approach to the theme, where they were looking into providing education for children that could not safely go or did not have access to schools. So they developed an entire methodology around providing classes associated with the national curriculum through radio. So the biggest key point of them was precisely this connection with the national curriculum on it. Having said all this, we have 2, for the first time actually, the 2 first prize winners are actually both from Uganda. And they got this award, they got both the first prize because of the potential that they have in order for the scale up and for the project to be replicated in other regions. It does not mean that the other project that I'm going to talk after was of less quality. I can tell you that I was very happy to not be part of the jury because I did not have to take a decision, but they were all extremely impactful, they're needed, but these 2 would have the potential to, in 1 year's time, to apply for the scale up and to be further scaled up on the region or in different countries. ACE got the 25,000 simply for the fact of, in terms of innovation, there are other, in other countries or so, there are countries that took a different, the concept is the same, the approach was different, that's why it was selected as a finalist, but unfortunately did not succeed to get it. Having said all of this, I want to once again to thank a lot to the government of Japan. Without it, this competition would not exist. It has been 20 years with $4 million being provided for many projects in many countries with thousands of beneficiaries throughout the time, with an impact that is still seen. There are projects that are still ongoing, that still proudly say that they are GADN grantees, that they were funded from the World Bank and the Ministry of Finance, and I hope that it continues. But I will not close without inviting everyone to look into the current edition of this competition. Even though I'm closing here the 2023 and I'm announcing the winners of the 2023 edition, the 2024 is ongoing. It closes on the 24th. We're still going to have 2 Q&A sessions because the training of the applications already are on a past, but still I invite everyone, if there are people here that could be fitting into the topic of sustainable climate action for human-centered development, both researchers and NGOs, I'll look forward, I'll be available. There are some booklets that will talk about, not just about this program, but everything else that GDN is doing, and I'll be available to talk with you and engage with you all. Thank you so much.